Good morning, everyone. Hi, Lacey again here from Metaintro, one of the co-founders, and here with our chief of staff, and always my dog Bo. This is just a reoccurring thing. I've learned to accept it. Hi everyone. Again, thank you for tuning in to our Wednesday lives. We do our lives every Wednesday to chat about different topics underneath the Web3 career umbrella. We've talked about everything from salary negotiations to how to improve your LinkedIn to how to slide into an employer's DMs properly. We've really talked about it all, and something that's been popular from the community is just doing a good old resume review. How to buffer up a Web2 resume, like we'll be talking about today. How to clean up a Web3 resume. We've really gotten some good feedback on just continuing to do this.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Alex pulls the resumes for us to take a look at. So why don't you tell us about this resume? Where did we pull this from?
This one came from one of our applicants. This person has applied for our journalism role, so
Good.
Web3 journalist. I think it's interesting because this one is just so Web2-ish, and you will see
Mhm.
why. Because, I mean, just starting from the top, you have the contact, you have the phone number, you have the email. Email is fine. Then you have a full address, where the person is located. You have date of birth. So Web2. Like, I would remove all of this because in Web3, time zones, this is something that you can put, for potential employers to check, where I mean, not where you located, but, in which time zones you're comfortable working in. Um, and also date of birth, I don't think this is a relevant field for, Web3 resume. Um, what do you think?
Yeah, date of birth is a big no-no across the board. It's not only like if you're in the US illegal to ask that upfront in an application, but it's also not relevant. It only becomes relevant if you're working for companies that have a minimum like age requirement for that role. Um, and let's say like you're going to work for Domino's or something like that. I think you have to be at least 17.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, you wouldn't put your date of birth on your resume. I'm just bringing up a scenario in which they would have to know your age, as if you're at least 17 to be able to work there. And so, date of birth, nix that. Last week, we talked a little bit about resumes for roles should sometimes reflect that certain role. So, like
Mm-hmm.
for instance, if this person was a designer, um, if I'm looking at their resume, I'd expect it to scream, let's say, front end design. So, colors and maybe a profile picture, your online portfolio, the tools that you know how to use. I would expect for it to be like an aesthetically pleasing resume. And for writing and journalism, which we talked about last week, because those roles are very word centric, I'd expect your resume to reflect just that. So your vocabulary, your punctuation, your grammar, that should be completely refined because it's a direct reflection of how you write. And so you have issues. Let's say you're going for a writing role, you're going for a journalist position like this, and you do have a hard time um, with grammar and punctuation. You could do something as simple as putting this through, like opening this up in Word, putting this through Grammarly, through ChatGPT, and then find the errors, or to spruce it up. So with this individual, okay, so we went over the top section. Address, I would take that out as well. Contact info. Do you know this had phone number, email,
Yep,
and
phone number, email, and here let me just and then, well, yeah, just the name of the person. Yeah, question to you, Lacey. What do you think about including the phone number, your phone number on this resume? Do we need it in Web3?
I think that's totally fine. I think what you're leading to is what other contact
Yeah.
information should we be including that's maybe more prevalent. And so for that, Telegram, your Discord handle, your Twitter handle, your Lens profile, adding those like Web3-esque communication lanes, I think is important.
LinkedIn, I would also add, because
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn is kind of Web 2-Web 3, but LinkedIn is super helpful for recruiters. For example, for me personally, it's much easier to pull up somebody's LinkedIn than a resume, just because in LinkedIn, I know where everything is located and I don't need to go and search for it in a resume, which saves me time when I look through like hundreds of resumes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, let's go down. So this resume, to me personally, I don't really understand it, just the structure of it. I would never put education as your first section of your resume. First section should be about. So especially if you're applying for, a journalism role, you should have you should have a good narrative about yourself, a small paragraph, maybe a few sentences. Tell us about yourself. Why are you passionate about this person applied for a Web3 position? Why are you passionate about Web3? Why are you trying to, write about crypto, about NFTs, about DAOs, DeFi? Why? What interests you in that field? Then I would have, which is super interesting, the way it's located, work experience is all the way on the bottom. Then I would have the work experience. Yeah. Let's go through every section, then we can probably tell, our audience how we would restructure it to make it, look better, Web3-ish. So what do you think about the education section?
Yeah. For me personally, this person wouldn't have gotten past the 10-second scan, just because it's very jumbled, and it's not like complete data, and also at the same time too much data. And so education generally goes underneath your experience. Achievements, let's see, what did they? If you want an achievement section, like let's say some of these things are super important to you.
I like this one. I really like this achievement. I think it's, it makes this person stand out.
Yeah. Like I understand, so for like journalism specifically, there's a ton of awards and achievements that you can go after. And like knowing that as a hiring manager is awesome. And so for this individual, I would suggest breaking these, maybe just highlighting your top 3 achievements, putting that down to the bottom underneath, either underneath education or underneath skills. You don't want to bury it in the resume so that it'll be overlooked. But I would drop this down. It should go description, work experience, education, maybe achievements, and then extra skills.
Or if you want to advance it, you can include your achievements in the about section about your description. I think this would be a better place, just because when somebody gets a resume, first they'll read the about section, then after that they will go into experience. If you're gonna have, some highlights about your achievements right there, it's not gonna get lost. It's gonna be highlighted because it's in your about section. So a way to make it, condense it. Moving down. I'm not sure that this section is projects. Too much information, too many words.
Yeah. I wouldn't have read through this in full honesty. Like I wouldn't have had the patience to read through this. Instead, I understand what this individual is trying to do. They're separating their work experience from the volunteer project. And in 3, we do so many volunteer projects, right? This is just a personal opinion. I should ask this on the podcast this week, what Alex thinks, but I don't really see the difference between volunteer projects and work experience. It's all work experience. Yeah. And so the only difference is that you don't get paid in one, but it's still experience. And so if I'd recommend just smudging the 2 together and picking 1 or 2 projects that you're super proud of, that excelled, that you performed well in, and embedding that into the work experience section. This way you can get rid of this entire section and you can make a properly formatted work experience section.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because again, this particular section here is just taking too much space out of, for example, work experience. In case of this person, there's not so much work experience, but after it's gonna get
Mhm.
more bigger, this will just go into 2 pages. Oh no, it is actually a bit over 1 page. Again, I'll scroll up, we're gonna get to the second page.
Mm.
Not sure
Yeah.
that this is needed, but sure, we'll get there. So work experience, CEO, founder at I'm not sure if I can pronounce it correct, Bang blah blah, from 2011 till present.
No,
Awesome.
this person's just trolling you.
No,
Um,
well,
Being blah blah
you
at
never
senior
know.
founder
You
for
never,
12 years. Yeah.
you never know.
Yeah, okay. So I hope that I wonder if does the resume for the next one we're gonna look like have a properly formatted work experience
Yes,
section?
yes. I specifically
Sweet.
chose this one just to show what a resume should
Yeah,
look like and how to make it better. So
yeah.
actually have a few. So let me know if you like this one. This one is a from front end developer. Let me just make it a little
Yeah.
bit bigger. Yeah, this person applied to
Nice.
us some time ago. It's a good looking resume. Everything is structured, good. Um, and yeah, but this is more like a Web 2, in my personal opinion, than a Web 3. So we can talk about how to level this up to more Web 3 position.
Nice.
So,
So just going, we can finish up the other one. I just wanted to show people what when I say properly formatted,
mhm,
that was properly formatted. So you have the uh, title of or the name of the company, the title of your role,
yeah.
and what dates worked on the right hand side.
Mhm,
And
yeah.
so for this individual, and then bullet points underneath, right? So like
Yeah.
um, multimedia specialist at the Times of India. So I would say Times of India multimedia specialist dates work February 16th through February 17th from the right side, and then underneath there'd be a like three bullet points of actionable items that
Yeah.
you did at that company to improve whatever you were in charge of improving. So we always talk about this, and another great opportunity to talk about this, putting numbers, KPIs, data into your resume and into those bullet points goes a long way. So, for instance, this person's a journalist, so maybe instead saying wrote 500 articles that got 1 million impressions in 1 year. Like
Yeah.
putting that data in is super important. Or covering the most high profile executives in India, which resulted to X amount in revenue. Sorry, X amount of revenue for this company. So formatting it like that, where you say, "Hey, not only did I do a good job at my last place of employment, but I also increased it for this company." So
Yeah.
again, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, also one thing that I don't really like about, oh, will you be able to mute the, yeah.
Yeah,
So one
I got
thing
it.
that I kind of don't like right away when I see the work experience, I don't like the way the dates are structured. So for example, here it's June 2014 till October 2015. Well, this dash should have some space after it. And then here we have just 2012 till 13. Why not 2013? Why just 13? I mean, this is just the format is very off, looks unprofessional. Something that if I would see just, those little things, I would say that this is, give me 1 second. I will fix it. Done. Yeah, so if I would see just those small things, I would just say, this person didn't take enough time to, write the resume. And it's
Mhm.
something that, I'll probably pass.
Yeah. Yeah. This person, I don't think was picked for an interview.
It was.
If you're, and we can talk a little bit more intimately about this just because we were the ones that posted the job. So for us, what we looked for was if you're going to be a journalist for us, and the job description was a journalist to cover trending hiring news across both the Web3 and ecosystem and the US market. Um, for us, what we were looking for was ability to communicate, storytelling, organization, and experience. And experience comes, I say experience and very loosely in terms of like that traditional experience. If this individual didn't have a ton of experience, like if Alex and I looked at this resume, the next thing we would have said is, what other volunteer projects did they do? You know, do they have a mirror? .xyz? Do they have a Substack? What does their Twitter profile look like? Do they write good threads? Like that would have been naturally the second question to compromise from the lack of work experience.
Yeah.
But this individual, this resume doesn't show organization, good storytelling, professionalism with their writing. So, and you can see that in 5 seconds, just by looking at this. So this individual likely again didn't pass that quick scan.
Yeah.
Harsh, but the truth, you know.
It's always
Everybody
good to tell
deserves
the
the
truth.
truth.
Yeah. Maybe this person is currently, you know, watching us, or maybe will be watching this stream, you know, just I mean,
Yeah.
we have so many live streams that we did about how to make a great resume, how to improve your current resume. Just, you know, take a look and you'll get lots of great insights on how you can make this better. Yeah, so I mean, honestly, after that, professional memberships, you don't need that. Like Lions Club
Yeah.
member, I have no idea what is that. And it's not helpful. E-Cell Entrepreneur Cell Council member. What is that? Why is it supposed to be helpful to this particular resume? General Secretary. Just you don't need it here.
Yeah.
Okay, extracurricular activities. Editorial board. Okay, that's that's relevant. That's
Yeah.
that's good. Um, yeah. I mean, and also
Yeah.
this. I mean, you don't need. Why would you? This is the first time I see something like this in a resume.
Yeah.
Like, why would you?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I see that sometimes, and I also see sometimes people will like sign it at the bottom. And I think that's more of an international thing outside of the US. 'Cause I don't see a lot of US candidates do that. So I don't know.
Interesting.
Might be a different market thing. But overall, if I had one tidbit to give back to this individual, it'd be to go to canva.com/templates or resume templates.
Yeah.
Pick a template from there and restart. I would nix this entire resume. For this individual, what's stopping them from getting an interview is this resume.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
100%. So let's go to the next one. The next one that actually has a good structure and something that you can follow. So I do like that on top, the person is telling you right away, I'm a front-end developer, front-end engineer. And this person applied for front-end engineer also. That's a plus.
Yeah.
What I would change here, I mean, here again, this person had the address. Don't know why so many people are trying to include their addresses in their resumes. But again, guys, you don't need your address. Include the time zones in which you're comfortable working in. If it's a fully remote job, global job, that's all they need to know. If you're willing to work night shifts, perfect. Great.
Yeah.
This would be a selling point for you during the process of are you eligible for an interview or not. What I would change in this resume, just like right away, is links. I love the LinkedIn link. Again, I'm the person that is looking for LinkedIn links in your resume. Twitter, perfect. What I would add here is GitHub. I would add some more, your portfolio link, because I'm pretty sure as a front-end engineer, you probably have, quite a few jobs that you did in the past, and this would be a great place to mention it here, to have a link to your resume. What do you think, Lacey?
I agree. Okay. Yeah, you can take that section and embed it into that top header section too.
Yeah, somewhere right here or right here. That would be good.
So with profile, you can reformat this so that it doesn't. You don't need to have it say profile. You can just have that like block of text up top, which will give you more room to make this centered. This description. So, all right, let me read through this.
Would you like me to zoom in?
Yeah, just a tiny bit. Yeah, I like that right up front. He says, what his stack is. Yep, great, good communicator. Honest and very curious. Curious is good. Like solving problems and ideas, great. Collaborate, great. Highly productive and organized, great. Only thing I'd say in this is add some Web3 buzzwords, honestly. For instance, professional Web3 full stack engineer with over 4 years of experience. I would do with 4 years of experience in JavaScript, React, TypeScript, etc. I would take everything from Adept to Foundation out, just so it's like right away. Web3, this is
Yeah. Yeah, and I really like my personal feedback. I really like that this person mentioned all of his, what each system that he knows how to work in. JavaScript, React. This is great because this is the first thing that I'm gonna look in a resume. About section, and I know right away. For example, if I'm looking for, let's say, a person that is, maybe he's a front-end engineer, but he applied for an analyst role. I can see that he knows Postgres SQL. Great. He probably also knows Python. Which will let me know right away that yes, this is a good candidate. He's a good fit. He will be able to do, the tasks that I need, the analyst for.
Yep.
Okay, let's zoom out.
All right. Employment history. Again, the formatting is like a little funky here. So traditional, put company on top.
This one.
Yes. Yeah. Take out the locations for the things that's not relevant, and put the date where the location is. Yeah, and then move over to the left-hand side, the role type, so that it gives you more room to expand on some of this.
This one should be right here. Nice. This one we don't really need. Yeah. So yeah, and this will be all moved to the side, and you will actually have more space because you're just you took out the seat. Well, I mean the places where the job was. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interchangeable, so you can either put the company first and then the role, or the role and then the company. I don't think it really matters. And then outside of this, with these sentences, these bullet points, I would expand, make these full informative sentences. So like one, ensuring web design is 100% responsive. Maybe using what tool, what project you worked on.
I would add numbers, more numbers. Like for example, made, this particular project got X amount of something. What front engineers can calculate, KPIs. For example, I said, what can a front-end engineer add in terms of numbers?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, just put it here. It's gonna be better. Because 100% responsive, I mean, that's good. I mean, that's really good, but is it like really 100%?
Yeah. Well, I'd hope that what you're building is 100% responsive.
You never know. No.
Yeah, that's the point. But instead, maybe also add the size of the teams that you worked on, describe the project that you were working on. Again, description in these bullet points is everything. So
yeah, this is good. Like for example, I really like this one. So Figma design using React and TypeScript, specifically tells you what he was doing. That's good. Okay, you want to go down to the next section?
Yeah.
Sure. So next we have education. I like that education is short, just university. Yeah. Not sure that you need this. Yeah. That's good.
If you hear anything, help let me know.
So for the skill section, I would take out experienced for all of it, and I would actually move these skills right on top of experience. For technical resumes, it's super common. Yeah, it's super common to see the skills right up front, just given that you have to have these hard skills in order to be considered for that role. So move the skills up front, staff it with everything you got. Make sure to include some Web3 tools that you're familiar with, maybe some chains that you've built on before, some tools that you've used in the ecosystem, just anything to throw that, to add that like extra layer of Web3 onto it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I mean, do we need hobbies section? What do you think?
Yeah, I've seen some like really good hobby section, which have actually prompted some interesting conversations in interviews. So yes and no. Like if you're gonna add a hobby section, you're adding it because you want it to be like a topic of conversation in your interview, you know? So feel free to be silly here. Feel free to be like totally yourself. Like for instance, if I saw mindlessly scroll through Twitter, crypto Twitter, like I think that was funny.
Shit posted on Twitter.
Yeah, shit posting on Twitter.
That's a
Yeah,
hobby.
like probably yeah, use this section to be like a to show off your Web3 ness. So and if trading NFTs, playing with DeFi tools, thinking, like add all of that good stuff into the hobby section because if you're in the Web3 space, chances are you like to do one of those. So
Yeah.
add
Getting
that.
rugged.
Yeah.
This can also
Getting rags. Yeah, that's a great hobby.
Well, I mean, if you're in Web3, if if you ever bought some NFTs, some crypto, the odds that you
Yeah.
get rugged at some point of time is pretty high. If you didn't, you're not in Web3. Unfortunately, this is a fact. Especially, just looking at the market, the current market situation. Yeah. So, but this one is just, I mean, my personal opinion, it's boring. Table tennis, swimming, football, reading, traveling. If you're applying for a Web3 role, just have something fun here. So I do 100% agree with you, Lacey.
Yeah. Can I send you one more resume, or are
Yeah.
you
Of course.
situated with that? Okay, let me.
No, you can send it to me. That's completely fine. Yeah,
We just got this one.
yeah, perfect. 1 second, guys. Let me let me know if you can still see my screen the way it was.
Yep.
Perfect. So yeah, there we go. Let me just
Cool. Can you just move up? Yeah. So we just got this one sent in from the audience.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Here, I'll do. You put yourself on mute. Nice. So we just got this one from the audience. So first thing I would do, top section, add that description, that summary, and for whatever role you're looking for, let's say if it's product, it looks like you're looking for a product role, add that in. So put underneath Michael, product manager or senior product manager, technical product manager, whatever you're looking for. So it's very clear what you're looking for in your career right up front. And then underneath, so you'll write product manager, and then for your contact info, can you scroll up, Alex, so that people aren't staring at this guy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't.
For that, yeah, we'll edit that out.
Uh-huh.
So for the contact information on the top, add your Twitter, add your Discord, your Telegram, whatever you communicate by. Add that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you have you're able to edit that part out, right, Alex?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, cool. That will not be in the YouTube version of this. Okay, and then underneath, we have your roles. Oh, this is great. We haven't covered a resume before that shows growth within a company. So that's a good topic to cover here. Like where you come in as here, for instance, product manager, and then you were moved up to lead product. I think that's great. And so I would just add like one indent underneath that bullet point, and then where product, just to give it like a tiny bit of space. But I see what you're doing here. I'm a proponent of it. And then also move the dates to the right, so that's like clear that this is like a separate role that is for the company. And let me see what. Illustrate that. Nice. You got a lot of good stuff in here. I'd love to know how big the team was that you manage. Wait, can you scroll back up a little bit? Alex,
Yeah.
can I scroll up a little bit?
Mhm.
I don't know. Sorry. Can you go the other way?
Oh, you mean up
Yeah.
this way?
Sorry. Yeah, right there. Okay. Okay. So great. You uh, changed the product manager section. Not the most current, the lead product manager, but the product manager section to past tense. So like grew marketplace revenue, drove execution of the roadmap. Nice. Yeah, I'd love so for the lead PM position, again, I'd love to know what the team or how big the team you managed was. Maybe other good tidbits to know would be like if you worked with any budgets. Um, I'm just reading through this while we go. Oh, nice.
Um,
That
that's a
sentence
good
would be
sentence.
the top.
Yeah.
That should be the first bullet point. Yeah. And if there were any sprints that you worked on, what tools you used in those sprints, I think that's all super important to know.
The one thing that I would change in the next one, grew marketplace revenue 700%. I really want to see numbers, from, where you started and then how much is 700%, because 700% can be, maybe there was 10 people and then you grew at 700%. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It can be drastic differences.
Yeah.
It was 10,000 and you grew at 700%,
Yeah.
as an example. So just be more specific about, the numbers. But 700% is impressive.
Nice. Okay, so underneath that, we have a founder position. Again, move the dates to the right so that there's some space in between. Right. Right upcoming. Yeah. And again, I'm just sorry, guys. I'm just reading through this. I bet there's so much more that you did than just this. I think you can get way more granular, especially if you are head of product and the founder of this. Rate upcoming NFT drops based on roadmap, team, community, and concept. I would love to know more about the product itself that you built, especially if you're a founder. What the community looked like, how big it was, the type of projects that came on, and then what your day to day was in terms of taking customer feedback into the product to build a better product, and then maybe what tools you use. Yeah, I would redo this one because I bet you can make this way better. Because I bet what you did in this role was super impressive. So.
Okay.
Next one, backspot.me, co-creator, head of product. Again, move the dates to the side. Nice.
It's a good resume.
There's a lot of good stuff here. I think it's just a matter of like, if you're kind of stuck with like, well, great, how do I make this better? Throw this into ChatGPT and say, make this sound more impressive. Let's see what it spits out. Because there's a ton of good nuggets in here, and I think you have an opportunity to highlight some of this. Yeah. Work. So, for instance, like work belongs to our team on press releases, handling media requests, TV and radio interviews. Maybe more so, it'd be that like what TV stations or radio stations you were highlighted in, like name drop. I would definitely do that here. Okay, cool. And then head of product. You have a ton of product experience and a ton of like senior product experience. So again, I would talk about the tools that you're using, the size of the teams that you're handling, the amount of customers that are coming into your product, how you take that information and turn around to the dev team to be able to communicate that, the sprints that you've worked in. I think that is more about is super valuable to get across in the resume.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, and also like for
I
example,
think-
here increase client revenue 50%. I mean, when you have, strong numbers, try to include them, on top and somewhere, in the middle or bottom. So, I mean, this is impressive. This is good.
Yeah. So I see the chat here says I'm finding it hard that recruiters aren't even picking it up when you apply, and you're not even getting to that. Sorry, you're not even getting it to round one. Sorry, guys.
Well, unfortunately, it heavily depends on the recruiter, and then it also depends on the market. How many resumes they're getting, and how impressed they can get by other resumes. This particular resume, to be honest, I like everything. This person has lots of great experience, like lots of great experience, but it's too long. Too many words, it's too long. There's too many bullet points. Even though, yes, it's 2 pages. For many recruiters, that's gonna be, longer than it's supposed to be. That's kind of my personal take on this.
Sorry, guys. I would also add your Twitter or your NFT PFP onto this.
Yeah.
That'll instantly make your resume pop and make it seem like you're in the Web3 space. So
And it's gonna be memorable. That's what matters, because many times I look at lots of great resumes and then I'm like, I'm trying to find, the one that I liked. Then it becomes hard to find it because they all look the same. But if again you're in Web3, yeah, add an NFT, add something unique to your resume. This way it's gonna be easier to find it.
All right. Can you scroll down a little bit more? Okay, so wedding site services, Goldilocks. This is a ton of experience, definitely not needed. I would just keep the top 3 to 4 experiences.
Yeah.
2-page resumes aren't necessary unless unless you're applying for a super senior role at a big company. So like, for instance, general counsel or security, maybe even some developers can justify having those 2 pages. But I don't for instance, I don't some of this is super old, 2010 to 11,
Yeah,
2007 to 9. Yeah, I would just take that.
you don't need it.
Keep it on your LinkedIn though. Yeah.
And remember, whenever you have an interview, you can always mention this during the interview that, besides the experience that I have on my resume, I also have A, B, and C, as an additional experience, just to make yourself stronger in front of, potential hiring manager.
Yeah. So to answer your question, yes, just cut out those earlier roles. Let's keep going. Education, great.
Skills.
Nice. Skills, great.
Jira, Miro.
Yeah, all of us. Nice. If I were you, let's see, Hotjar. Nice. Nice.
Is Web3 considered to be a skill? Just
No,
curious.
but I understand what you're trying to do here. If I were you, your PM product keyword for ATS. Yeah. Oh, I see. If I were you, I'm assuming Flow is not the only one that you're familiar with. I would add other chains. Yeah, I would just continue to be as specific as possible. How you're Agile, Jira, Asana, be as specific as possible, like you are earlier on with these skills. Yeah, so I think I'm curious if you make those adjustments, make a second iteration of this, chop it down to 1 page, add that description sentence or description two sentences that say you're a senior product manager in the Web3 space, looking for your next opportunity with a team for team size of S, something that like really communicates your experience and your passion for Web3. Add that to the top description. Add your your NFT PFP. Update your contact experience, and cut this down to one page. And I would be curious once you do that to then apply to some higher PM jobs and DM me in like a week or so and let me know if any of that made a difference. It's okay in this to like say senior product manager. Be very clear, because otherwise you're going to be like interviewing for roles where the pay is not what you want. And in this space right now, just looking at the jobs that have been recently posted, like people want senior PMs right now. And so put here, this way it's very clear, like where you sit in terms of experience. So make those changes, ping me in a week and a half. Let me know if any of it changed in terms of being able to get interviews. And if it has, great. And if it hasn't, let me take another look at your resume and see if there's anything else that I'd add or change.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, great.
Awesome. Yeah. So, okay, cool. So this was a good live. Again, we do these lives every Wednesday, talking about different career topics in the Web3 space. And obviously doing resume reviews. And so if you're watching the recording of this, make sure to drop a comment down below, hit the subscribe button, say GM, we'll say it back. If you have any suggestions for topics that we should cover in the future, please leave them in the comments below. If you want to watch this recording live, you can hop into our Discord and you'll see in the Meta Friends page, this is where we do our lives. The event will be scheduled in the events tab. So yeah, this was a good one.
It was. Yeah, and besides we're live right now on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, if I'm not mistaken, and Discord. So you can watch on any platform that you prefer.
Nice. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Yeah, thank you, guys.